Gods Woodsman. Today I'm going to teach you about cleanliness. As you can tell, my hands are filthy. And what if you didn't bring any soap with you? What are you going to do? Just rinse your hands off? Or is there something out here that you could use to wash your hands? That's what I'm going to show you, how to make soap in the woods. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make a digging stick. It should only take a couple minutes. A lot of times I'll make them even when I just go to the bathroom. It only takes a couple minutes. Coming up. What we are going to do to make a digging stick is we're just going to look for a nice long piece of wood, maybe a couple feet, maybe about arm's length, and an axe or a knife. I'm going to use my axe because it's just a little bit faster. Stick that case in my pocket so I don't lose it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take the bottom of this stick and we're going to cut it off on an angle. I figured it was probably going to break. Now we're just going to make this a nice choke up on your axe. What we're trying to make here is just a nice blunt point. It's a nice angle. And then when we like about how long it is, we're just going to cut the thing off. And when I cut something like this off, I usually don't go 90 degrees to the cut. I'll usually go slight angle. It cuts a little bit easier because you're going with the grain of the wood instead of against it. And just bust it off. Yeah, it didn't break perfectly, but it doesn't need to. We'll just make sure there's no sharp edges. Just trim it up a little bit. There we go. That's what we need. Now, let's go get some soap. What we have right here is a yucca. And what we are going to do with this yucca is we are going to dig right next to it, down in here. See this bulge right here? That's the root. That's what we're going after. So you're just going to dig right alongside it until we get down to that root. And you can dig in a little ways. You don't need a ton of it, but go in a little ways. And then just kind of lift it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the whole business right out of the ground. And you can usually grab it and twist it and break it off. Might take a little doing. Alright, this is what we want. I know, something that comes out of dirt to wash your hands. You got to get your hands dirty to get them clean. Doesn't make any sense. Now that we got that yucca out of the ground, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to process it. So just take a stick or something and just try to get off the worst of the dirt, off the root section. The section up here we don't really need. You can pull off some of this dead stuff, which, believe it or not, that actually makes very good tinder. Kind of get back towards the base of the plant. A lot of times it'll just break off. Now, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to take the bark off of this. Just kind of smack it. Try to get the worst of the dirt off so we're not chewing up our knife with all the dirt. And then just take your axe, or you can use your knife. I'm going to use my axe. And just kind of carve away all the dirty bit. And just toss that aside. We don't need any of that. Any part that has any of the dirt or the bark of the root, we don't need any of that. And then keep doing that. And then take a few minutes processing this. I'm going to finish processing. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do, we're going to need a clear plastic bottle. I found this one on the trail. I figured it would work. What you're going to do with that is you're going to take a little bit of water from your canteen or go down to the creek. I've got this, so it's handy. We're going to put a little bit of water in there, not too much, just a little bit. And then we are going to take some of this little pieces of this root and cut it up and stick it in there. And believe it or not, the Native Americans in America used to use this to bathe with. they would use yucca and then cut little bitty pieces up like I'm doing now. The only difference is they would dry it in the sun, which you can do, into little bitty small pieces and grind it up into like a powder and use it as their soap. And this is definitely a soap you could use in water in a creek because it's all natural, as you just saw. We just got it out of the woods. But the Navajo, the Cherokee, the Apache, a lot of them use this because it's very quick and easy to use. I mean, I can already kind of feel the sudsiness with my knife sliding into it. And the more pieces used, the more sudsy it's going to get. And it's not going to look like dish soap or something, but it beats nothing, and it does get your hands cleaned up. And it does tend to cut the dirt. So just a few pieces like that. You can set the root aside and just let the whole root dry if you want. Take your bottle with the cap on and just shake it up, and you can already see the soap in it. Just shake it up real good. Look at all those suds. That was an empty bottle with just water that I just added and yucca root. Hands are all dirty. Usually you do this down at the creek, but the creek's a little ways away, so I'm just gonna put a little bit in my hands. All that dirt coming off. And if you want to make it smell a little bit better, nice and clean. If you want it to smell a little bit better, just take some pine needles and crush them up, put those in there with it. And you can put a strainer on the end of the bottle so it strains out the pieces of yucca. Or you can, as I said, dry the yucca out and use it makes like into a powder after you dry it out and then grind it up, and you can use it as a real good like powder soap. But just a hunk of root. It's all along the trail. You see it all the time. This has been Gods Woodsman on how to make soap. Thank you so much for watching. Please like my video, share, and subscribe. And please tell somebody about one of my videos. And if you have an idea for a future video, please leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.